okay, I want 100K next month. I manifest more like I want that lifestyle within 6 months, something like that.
Adit, a warm welcome to the Face Yoga Expert podcast. How are you today?
Thank you, Danielle, for inviting me. I'm doing great, thank you, and hello, everybody.
Thank you. Well, it's lovely to have you here. I've been really looking into everything you do, and it's so wonderful and so aligned with so much of what I do. And I love seeing everything you talk about intuition and energy. And later on, I really want to get into that. But I would love to start at the beginning, because what I found super intriguing was how you actually started as an engineer before you then became a life coach and doing everything you do now. So how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so I became an engineer because I was good at math. I had good analytical skills. And I also love traveling. And I've worked in the oil industry, which is actually requires lots of travels for the workers. So that was kind of my choice. And then I started to experience, already during my studies, I started to experience panic attacks. And because of that, I was looking for some natural healings, and then that's how I get it into Reiki. So I started to learn about Reiki. I did the level 1, then level 2, and then I experienced also some extra sense retreats with my master. And I also did family constellation therapies, but this was always my hobbies. So whenever I had like some free times, weekends or holidays or something, then I went for these events, and then I really enjoyed it. And then I felt that it really helps with my life, with my relationships, with my health. So that's why I was also doing it. But it was kind of like my sanctuary as well. I also had children on the way. And then basically, how I shifted is first I wanted to spend more time with my children. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be in 9 to 5, or I want to be more in a work-life balance where I can spend more time with them, because it was just so frustrating getting home in the evening and just hardly have any time with them, only just like bath and homework and sleep. It was like scheduled, and it was like I didn't like it. And at the weekend I was drained, I felt tired, and because I had an unhealthy lifestyle, I had no time to exercise during the week. And then also I had probably had an unhealthy diet, so I was overweight. So all of these things also made me more tired and unhappy at the weekend. So again, I had not the quality time with the children I wanted. So basically I quit my 9 to 5. And then we went on a trip to New Zealand. We wanted to relocate there for a while, but then did not happen the relocation. But we spent there 6 months, and it was really nice for bonding, to get to know the kids, having a big family vacation kind of thing. And after returning from there, I became a contractor. So I was still doing engineering things, but as a contractor, so I had more time for other things to explore and open up to more possibilities and opportunities. And I realized that I was living in an engineering box kind of way, like there is so many other things out there. And then I was invited to a course which was done by Karma Guru Suman Kaul, and it was 2018 January. And I was really shocked by the powerful experience I had there when I did first time the transcendental meditation. And my third eye started to open. I started to have more breadcrumbs from the universe. I started to channel, and then have all kinds of guidance and intuitions, where to go. And then I also learned source memory healing, which is for trauma healing, and how much it actually connects with our current situation and how we feel, or what physical or mental illness we have. So actually by that I started to heal more of my issues, which was only just managed by the Reiki but haven't really got healed. So then I realized the power of this method. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to show this to people. I want to teach them or show them or heal them, like help to heal them. So all of this is just came into me, and that's made my decision basically to move to London and establish my business as a healer and life coach. And even though at the beginning I was still doing some engineering work, but after like a year, it was I stopped that, and then basically I was focusing more on these energy healings and meditations and life coaching.
That's amazing. And before you did your Reiki training, were you already connected to your intuition, to your spirit guides, the spiritual realm, or was that something which sort of started to come through as you did your Reiki 1 and 2 training?
So as a child, I always had very vivid dreams. So every night I went on a journey. And then in the morning, I was excitingly told to my mom that what happened that night, it was an adventure. And then I asked her, like, what have you dreamed? Like, what was your dream? And she was like, oh, I saw a bread. I was like, okay. And what was happening? And then she said, like, nothing, just the bread. I was like, okay. So then I realized that not everybody is having that experience at night, like me, like dreaming every night, like being in a parallel reality or something. But it was fun. I always love sleeping at night because I always excited about go to bed because I know something exciting is gonna come up. So that was the first things what was happening. And then when I was in my teenage years, I started to explore more of the religions and then mythology. I loved mythology. So I was very drawn towards the Egyptian mythology. And then I remember that I bought a book, which was like a future prediction book with goddesses of Egypt. And I was playing with that, like doing like some prediction with that book. And then it was so fun. And then that was, I think, the beginning of my intuitive searching for the future and stuff like that. And then with the Reiki, we practice many extra sense things like with my dot master. And that's when I realized also that how easy is actually to connect to others and to the other side, and then how to actually feel different things which we can't see, basically.
That's wonderful. And for anyone that doesn't know, and I'm sure many of my listeners do know, how would you describe intuition?
Another thing about like how I know I am very intuitive is that I always followed my intuition more my than ego. So I am a yes man or woman. So which means like when I got something into my mind, I act on it without even any fear or any double thoughts. And then it's so funny that, for example, when I first time I traveled abroad alone, and because I wanted to be an au pair, I was sitting on the bus already because I was going with a coach. And then I was sitting on the bus. It was already night time, and then suddenly came into my mind, "Where are you going?" Like I was already on the road. And I was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Okay." So the ego just woke up, from a
Yeah.
long dream. So, and it was already late. So that's what is happening to me. So at first, I always act on my intuition before I even allow the ego to questioning what am I doing. But I think is very unique because I see that many people is operating on a different way. They have very powerful ego, and they have the fear there, and the doubts. So I'm more the person who's acting on intuition, and then I believe in those passes. So it's basically when you have encouraging thoughts, positive thoughts, encouraging thoughts, that's the intuition. And when you have fearful thoughts, basically that's what is holding you back or trying to talk you out of certain things. That's the ego, basically.
Absolutely. It's interesting because before we went on the podcast, I was having a chat with my husband only about half an hour ago, actually, about a decision that we're trying to make. And I was saying to him, for me, my mind plays tricks on me all the time, and my ego can come in all the time. But when I was trying to make this decision, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to settle down into my body. And if it feels constricted and if it feels uncomfortable in some way, then for me, it's a no to that decision. And that's often when the ego's coming in. But when suddenly, even if I'm scared, even if there's some discomfort there, if the overriding feeling of a yes to that decision is expansive and it's light and it feels aligned, then it's a yes. And even though I'm very used to tapping into my intuition now, I can definitely very quickly get into what I call that monkey mind or even that ego and actually forget how simple yet powerful my intuition is. So for me, definitely it's a it's a feeling in the body. And I don't know about you, but I've definitely experienced with many different people I've worked with and many different people I know, intuition can feel really different for every person. But you're right, it definitely is something which is more sort of enthusiastic, and it feels good, even if there's fear underneath it. And how would you say that we can develop our intuition even more so? Because I don't know about you, but I believe that we all have intuition, but it's just whether we allow ourselves to experience it and feel it. So how do we allow ourselves to do that?
Yeah, so the people who are artists or creative designers, those people already have it. So it's like for them it's coming naturally. And it's so mind-blowing to see that they, without any spiritual practices or doing any modalities, they already there. They already have those intuitive knowings and wisdom. And then there's just so amazing. But the people who are not that artistic, or not that spiritual yet, how they can actually tap into their intuition is I recommend them to practicing meditation. That's the first thing. But there are so many kinds of meditations, like thousands kind of meditations. So which one to practice, right? So the one is which you called, like you said, you talked about the monkey mind. So the basic meditation, what many people trying to practice or practice is just sit down and calm their monkey mind and, just being in quiet or calmness. But that is a bit too difficult for many. And then what I teach and what I suggest is the transcendental meditation, because in that case, you don't force the monkey mind to stop talking. You actually transcend into the subconscious where it's always quiet. So that's a very good start. And then while we do that, we start with activating the pineal gland, and then that's connect to the third eye. So opening the third eye is very important for strengthening the intuition, because what is happening when when your third eye is closed or blocked, basically you have more fear, you have more worry of the future, and you are not a visionary. You don't have a vision, or you don't see your purpose, or you don't see your path ahead. So that's when people feel lost, or feel disencouraged, or stuck in life, and they say like, I don't know who I want to be, I don't know what I want to do, I just know I don't like where I am, but they are just feeling lost because they need to work on their third eye. And the first thing is actually what they can do is start trusting that there is something outside of them is bigger than they are, like universe, God, or source, or whatever they call it, but that they are not alone, basically. So they connect to the source, and then as they connect to the source, is going through the higher self. So basically the higher self is which is in touch with the source. So it's so as they opening their third eye with certain practices, even they can use crystals, or they can just imagine that powerful universe or something which they start connecting with, as with a light. Then they start to feel that have less worry, less fear, they are more trusting, they are more believing, and they start to have some intuitions about which things, what to do, or which way to go, or what like start to have visions, about like, oh, it would be nice to do that, or wow, what if I try that? It's like allowing them to more dream about like what is possible.
Absolutely. I love that. So, doing the meditation and really connecting not only to our third eye, but also using our crown chakra to actually connect to the spiritual realm as well. I think they're really good first steps. And how do you use intuition to manifest yourself on a personal level?
Yeah, so basically for manifestation, you what is aligned with your path or with your vision, it's easier to manifest, because that's going to be supported with other side as well, with the spirit guides, with angels, everything. So they are like watching you, and they are happy when you actually step into that path, what was already determined for you, or was chosen for you, that's what you're supposed to do. So when you actually already feeling that vision or that path, it's easier to manifest, to get goals, or reaching your achievements in those paths. If you want to manifest something which is not aligned with that, it could still happen, but you will see that you will return back to the same point where you were. So, for example, for me, the New Zealand, I wanted to manifest to go there, but I had to come back. So it did not finalize to reside there. We had to come back, but it was still an amazing experience. I still managed to go there, be there, enjoy it, and experience it, but it wasn't part of basically my purpose or my mission. So, so that's what I recommend to people, that when they make big decisions, to make sure that they check in with their intuition, that is it really part of my past, or it is just like a conscious decision through analyzing things or data, and then I just set that goal because it feels, maybe because I heard it from somebody that it's a good idea, or because people are doing that, or so on and so forth, and then that's why they choose that. And then they are like, okay, I checked all the details, analyze things, blah, blah, blah. So let's try that thing, and let's try to manifest it or go for it and, take action on it, because taking action is also part of the manifestation. And then that's when actually most of the people either fail or not getting enough support from the other side. So they need to tackle it themselves, out. It takes longer, it takes more energy. But if you do something or manifest something which is aligned with your past, then basically you got other side also to help you. And then some magics can come in once in a while you are doing it.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the most popular things that many people want to manifest is more money or more financial success. Now, I'd be really interested to know your perspective on this. I mean, I can tell you, for me, from a personal point of view, if I'm ever trying to manifest that from an ego point of view, it never works. But if I'm manifesting it from a place of intuition and it's for the higher good of not only myself, but also the people around me, and I'm manifesting in a way which feels really aligned, then it works for me. What's your experience of that?
I mostly try to go the way, I mean, like I mostly address these kind of manifestations from lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically visualizing my lifestyle, which I want to reach, and through that visualization, I give kind of freedom to the universe to decide on the how.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I want to have a lifestyle which is this and this, and I know, of course, for that I need bigger amount of money, but I don't manifest like the money, like, okay, I want 100K next month. I manifest more like I want that lifestyle within 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And then how that lifestyle going to happen to me, allow the universe to unfold it, because it could come from anywhere, it's like, it's a very open thing. So that's why if people are looking at one thing and say like, okay, I want the money from this direction, and then they missing out maybe the other directions, or yeah, absolutely. So it's like, you need to be open-minded. Where is that money coming from when you're actually saying, okay, I want to manifest a certain amount, or I want to manifest a lifestyle? You need to be open-minded to see where is it coming from, because the how this is the divine part.
I love that. That's such good advice for sure. And I'd love to switch slightly and talk a little bit more about energy and energy reading and aura reading, which I know is something which you do a lot with your clients. And I'd love to know, first of all, how you started to be able to do aura readings and to be able to see colors around people, and also how you now use that with people.
Yeah, so energy healing, yeah, is the Reiki healing basically I do, and the other one is the Shechem healing.
Mhm.
And they have some similarities, but they are also a bit different. So Reiki is the most known basically, and it's includes some signs. You need to use some Reiki signs to tune into those energies, and then you can actually use it distance healing. And then with the Shechem, you also have signs, but you have more, not just the 3 signs for the Reiki or 4, but then more signs. And then you actually also do distance healing, but you also connect to the Sirius sun, not just to the source energy. And it's actually makes the healing much stronger. And it's actually made my healing, since I was initiated to Shechem, it's made my healings actually shorter. So
Interesting.
before when I was doing the Reiki, because the healing stops when the healing was done. Is I don't stop the healing, is when the energy gone, it's gone. So when I was doing the Reiki, it was always like 1 hour, 1.5 an hour. And then since I do the Shechem, is sometimes it's like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It's much shorter now. And about the aura, so I actually don't really look at the aura, I look at the chakras, because the aura is basically the color of the chakras, or is the part of the chakras. So when I look at people, I go through their chakras and see how they are opened or closed or blocked, and which area needs to work on. And with the aura, I just always tell them that if they are in low vibration or low emotional situation, then they actually have holes on their aura, and that's allow other entities or negative energies to enter their body and creating some cravings or addictions, which might they don't want, obviously. So it's always very useful to have a energy protection, and also to keep your vibration basically high, so your aura is always strong and keep you protected as well. The chakras is again is how you see chakras is with your third eye. Basically, like I have to close my eyes to see the chakras, and then just intuitively tuning in, and then going through the energies, and then feel the sizes, and the forms. And how I started it is actually to also trusting. So with energy healing, you need to trust a lot in your abilities as it grows, as it starts. I also analyze drawings, and then the people are always very much shocked about my analyzation when they do their drawings, and they're like, oh my God, how do you know? So it's like when I talk about their family or their situations, or how they feel about certain aspects of their life, they are like totally shocked, like, oh, I can see it from a drawing, and I always love doing that.
That's amazing. I love that. I did my Reiki 1 and 2 training a few years ago. And I think during that time was a time when I was most tapped into my intuition and most tapped into not only my chakras, but other people's as well. But something which I haven't yet practiced, and I say I haven't yet practiced because I believe it's in me, and I was actually just practicing it there when I was looking at you, is actually seeing the chakras or aura colors around people. And it's really interesting because you've inspired me to tap into that side of myself. And I was looking at you then, and I was seeing so much green around you, like so much green, so much heart chakra energy coming out, and also quite a little bit of orange as well around you. So it was nice actually to do that little practice whilst you were talking. And I'm really interested the other way around as we've been talking, whether you've seen any color around me or within me.
For me, it's like your third eye is really powerful now. So it's yeah, the purple.
That's wonderful. And it's probably because I'm tapping into that as well in this moment. So that's great. And what sort of people do you work with? What sort of walks of life do they come from, and what are they looking to do?
Um, the majority of them are already spiritual, so they already did some spiritual work on themselves, and they are either going through their spiritual awakening, and then they need some more help to get over or out of it, see the end of the tunnel. I also help, and then they come, with sometimes they feel depression. So, sometimes they just feel stuck or lost, or some of them come to me even with panic attacks, or I also have clients who just, yes, as they step into this spiritual realm, they need help with like how to digest it, how to be more powerful, or how to strengthen their intuition, and so on and so forth. So I also teach actually karma healing facilitators who can also help others with the trauma healing and transcendental meditation, so on and so forth. So there is those students also who's my clients. And yeah, but besides that, yeah, the people who wants actually become more mindful as well. So the meditation is also help them with mindfulness, with controlling their emotions, their thoughts, and their actions. So they become more resilient and they can actually focus on what matters. Because if you are on an emotional roller coaster, you are all over the place, and then you can't even have a proper, nice, lovely time with your family or with your coworkers, or focus on your work because you are all over the place. You feel sad, you feel disappointed, you feel this and that because of the triggers which coming to you. But when you learn these techniques, and then you are able to release some related traumas to your triggers, and you learn the meditation, and then you work on your resilience, then basically you become much stronger, in mind. And that allow you to basically create the life you want.
And that's wonderful. And how do you protect your own energy? How do you fill up your own cup? Do you have any wellness rituals or routines that you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, actually, I do Reiki on myself. So that's what I do. I also do the transcendental meditation daily. And not daily, but like weekly or bi-weekly, I do a certain practice which called pyramid protection. And that's I also create around me. That's pyramid protection for negative energies.
Wonderful. And is there any sort of exercise or nutrition that you enjoy doing that helps you to feel aligned, to feel grounded, but also to feel very connected as well?
Yeah, I love, for example, adding spirulina into my shakes. Like that's one thing which I do. I love chia seed as well, adding into my breakfast. And I'm always make sure that I have, protein and iron and magnesium. These are very important because sometimes when the clients comes to me and they are very anxious and stressed, and I always ask them like, what do you eat? That's my first question, like how is your diet, what do you eat? And then when I see they don't have enough certain things, then I tell them that you should eat this, you should eat that, or to buy, multivitamins or something, because you are lacking certain nutrients. That's why you are so anxious. It's not always the traumas, or it's not always, I mean, that could also bring it up, but basically they also need some other physical support to their body. And the other thing what happened to me is that there was a period of time when I didn't go to the gym, and my blood pressure is usually very low. And now I started to go to gym again, and my blood pressure is on a very nice level now. So I'm very happy about it. And then I also recommend everyone to start going to the gym, especially if you have a low blood pressure, because it's actually going to regulate it, and you're going to feel much stronger and more alive, and just good.
Absolutely, definitely. Stronger in mind, stronger in body, stronger in spirit as well, for sure. And Aditi, if anyone wants to learn more about what you do, take any of your courses, follow you on social media, would you be able to share all of that with us?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram, very active there. I have testimonials there and videos like advices, and recommendations. And also I post there about my events. Sometimes I having free events where you can people join and try these modalities. So on Instagram, I am Edith B. Kiss. So that's how they can find me. I also have a website, which is edithbkiss.com, where they can also find about my services. There are some blog posts there, also my bio and my testimonials. So that's also a place where they can find out more, basically.
Wonderful. We'll link all that in the show notes for you as well. Aditi, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.